Right, welcome back to Harvest of Laughter TV. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about George Junius Stinney. He was the youngest person to be killed in the United States in the year 1944. You see, George's father had about 4 children, and George Stinney was the second child of that family. They lived in South Carolina in Columbia, in one small town known as Alcoholu. That's where they lived, and everybody in that Alcoholu community actually worked in the sawmill. Even the black people and the white people, they all worked like in the same sawmill. But there was strong racism going on at about that time, such that where the whites worked was different from where the black people were working, but it was in the same sawmill. When they closed from work, the door that they used to pass, black people had their own, white people also had theirs. So the racism by that time, in fact, in the sawmill there, where they used to bathe, the white people had theirs, while the blacks also had theirs. So the racism there was strong. The blacks and the whites, they do not mix. So in the year March 24, 1944, where George Stinney and his sister, they were playing outside their father's house. This was on Friday, when two white girls, known as Betty June Binica, who was 11 years old, and Mary Emma Thames was just 8 years old. They were both white girls. So they approached George Stinney and his sister, and they asked them where they could find flowers, to play, that kind of a thing. But George Stinney did not even offer a word, because he understood what was going on at about that time, that the white and the black, they did not mix. So he didn't say anything. Anyways, the two white girls, they had to leave to go and continue their search for flowers. 6 hours, or more than even 6 hours later, after the parents of these girls waited for them, they did not return. Put yourself in the shoes of these parents. If you send your own child out to go and play, and about 6 hours, this child did not return, definitely you'll be bugged. So these parents of these two girls, they searched for these girls, they did not find them. They even want to organize a search party, consisting of even some blacks and some whites. And George Stinney and the father volunteered to join this search party in search of these girls. All through Friday evening, they searched for these girls. They did not find them. Then George Stinney told one of the men that were searching, and he told them that these two girls, I actually saw them earlier this afternoon. They came to ask me for flowers, but I didn't say anything to them, so they went their way. Anyways, what George Stinney said by that time did not really hold much water. They didn't really take it seriously anyways, because they were still searching for these girls. Everybody went to their houses to sleep, except the parents of these two girls that did not sleep throughout the night. Imagine if you were looking for your 8-year-old and they can't find the child, man, you won't even get sleep. So very, very early on Saturday morning, the parents of these girls continued with the search party. They kept searching for these girls, and they found them dead. They found their bodies in a ditch, one shallow ditch consisting of water. They found the bodies of these two girls inside. It was by that time that what George Stinney said previously on Friday, it was by that time it now made sense to these people. Immediately, they invited the police and they picked up George Stinney and the elder brother. Immediately, they took them away. After about 2 hours of interrogation without their parents, they finally allowed George Stinney, elder brother, to go, because they found out that from the whole matter, he didn't really have any direct relationship with the girl. He was not there. But for George, they did not leave George. They kept pressurizing him. They kept threatening him. They kept interrogating him, asking all sorts of questions, because he was black by that time. Towards in the evening, when they could not get a reasonable answer from him, they had to quit the interrogation. And the people that were waiting for these policemen to continue the interrogation, we were waiting for results. In fact, a whole lot of people were outside this police station waiting for results, if they should beat up George Stinney and kill him. In fact, a mob was already waiting. They were all armed, waiting for them to just come out so they can finish them. But the police had to sneak George Stinney out of that place to a penitentiary, to go and keep him there first from the people that were already angry. Now, when they asked this police what were the results, What were the findings from your interrogation? What is the boy saying? A full-grown adult said that George Stinney confessed to killing the two white girls. That was the result that the police presented, that the 14-year-old boy confessed to killing these two white girls. Now, they asked him, any recordings? He said no. Any written statement? He said no. Any signed statement? He said no. They had to let the boy go. Meanwhile, George Stinney, the father, was sacked from work immediately because the rumor went around that George Stinney killed two white girls, because that was what the police told them. So it was everywhere. In fact, George Stinney and the father and the family, they had to leave their former home because a mob attacked that home and vandalized everywhere because of the results that they got. By April 24, 1944, George Stinney was taken again by the police. This time, they had to take him to court. But this time around, it was a sham trial. What was a sham trial? Somebody that was confirmed not guilty for a previous crime that you tried him for. You are coming again to try him again for the same crime. It is illegal, it's unlawful. That's known as what? A sham trial. It was illegal. So they took George Stinney to court by this time. Now, these white people, they did not even give George Stinney they did not allow him come with a lawyer. In the court, they did not allow any black American into the courtroom. They did not allow George Stinney parents into the court. They locked all blacks outside the court. In fact, the court was made up of all white people. The bench of magistrates or judiciary were made up of all white people. It was the court that even gave George Stinney a lawyer. This time around, ask me the kind of lawyer they gave George Stinney. A tax lawyer to come and stand for somebody in a crime case. They knew that this tax lawyer was not a good match. In fact, the lawyer that was prosecuting George Stinney was far 10 times better than this lawyer that they brought. He was a tax lawyer. He had no idea. In fact, it was no match for this lawyer that he was going to stand against. Tax lawyer, without knowledge, did not invite any witness. The only statement, in fact, the only evidence that was standing that George Stinney killed these white girls was a policeman that kept his word, and he kept saying that George Stinney confessed to him. No statement, no recorded, no signed, nothing of such. It was just that. And after this court deliberated on this issue over 2 hours, it took them just 10 minutes. They tried, they convicted and sentenced George Stinney to death by electrocution, a 14-year-old child. The parents were not present in the court. They did not allow them to get their own attorney. They had to go and the prosecution brought their, like, I don't know how to put it. It's like you want to play football match against another team, but this team that you want to play against, they are the one that is giving you a goalkeeper. They are not going to give you good goalkeeper, definitely. That was what happened in George Stinney case. The lawyer they brought had no clue. In fact, he was practically a novice. He was no match for these white people. So on the 16th of June 1944, that was when they actually took George Stinney. They put him in an electric bench, but he was too small, such that when he sat on that bench, his feet were dangling. His head could not even reach the electrode of the electric chair. So when they put this electrocution equipment on him, when they put it on, the helmet jerked and fell off his head. Not once, not twice. Why? Because his head was too small to fit into the helmet, and his waist was not even reaching the belt level for that chair. So they had to put a Bible beneath him to push him up. And that was how they killed and executed George Stinney for a crime that he knew nothing about. The medical examination carried out on these girls showed that they were attacked with a blunt object. A blunt trauma was seen on their head, like something that was not sharp was used, like a baton, to bat their heads. And it was acclaimed that it was George Stinney that carried out this crime. And they killed the 14-year-old just like that, making George Stinney the youngest person to be executed in the United States in this 20th century. Now, 70 years later, forward back to the year 2000, 3 of the George Stinney siblings that were still left alive said the matter was not yet over, even after 70 years. They got their own lawyers this time around and they continued this matter. It was of recent 2014 that the court finally validated their needs that George Stinney was indeed innocent. But guess what? Who was gone was gone. George Stinney was already gone about years ago before they finally pronounced him not guilty. But who was gone was gone. This happened in South Carolina, Columbia, March 14th, 1944, down to the time he was killed, June 16th, 1944.